next let's clear up politics. Virginia becomes the only Deep South state to codify marriage equality. In 2015, the Supreme Court made marriage equality the law of the land, while states had laws that prohibit gay marriage on their books. 9 years have passed, and many of those states still have those laws on the books. The first Deep South state, though, changed that this week. Republican Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin signed into law House Bill 174, affirming marriage rights for same-sex couples. Introduced by Delegate Rozia Henson, the bill garnered huge support in the General Assembly. Equality Virginia's executive director, Narissa Raha-man, lauded Youngkin's decision, saying, quote, "2 years into this term, Governor Youngkin has shown leadership and inclusivity and has finally listened to his constituents, his signing of HB 174. The legislation garnered bipartisan support in the General Assembly, reflecting the widespread backing of marriage equality among over 70% of Virginians. Since 2014, same-sex couples have had the right to legally marry in Virginia, despite a 2006 constitutional amendment defining marriage as between a man and a woman. Efforts to repeal this amendment are underway, with a resolution pending in the General Assembly. However, a Senate committee delayed consideration of the resolution proposed by Senator Adam Ebbin in January. This move underscores the ongoing debate over marriage equality in the state, with Democrats holding sway in the legislative process. Nonetheless, Republican Youngkin's signing of HB 174 marks a significant step towards recognizing and protecting the rights of LGBTQ+ individuals in Virginia. So, I think one of the things that is so important about this is we have seen what happened with Roe v. Wade. We kind of all just thought, the Supreme Court settled this, we don't have to worry. And so I'm really happy to see a state like Virginia realize, okay, wait, our laws are not necessarily settled, or, not laws, but our policies aren't settled by the Supreme Court, and they can backtrack, and we know it's on their agenda to backtrack. And so I'm really hoping we see more states start to follow Virginia's lead in that regard.
Well, it is a big deal for the notoriously anti-LGBTQ plus Youngkin, but I still don't trust him. I mean, he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart, because I don't think he actually has a heart, but it does make you wonder if he's doing this like with his eye on maybe a 2028 presidential run or something.
But the thing is, Virginia is a slightly different case among many southern states. First of all, Virginia is barely the South anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, DC suburb.
Yeah, it's a DC suburb, especially the portion that's closer to DC.
Yeah.
I mean, Virginia Beach still have the Jerry Falwell and the Pat Robertsons of the world, but the other side is not. So I don't expect this trend will actually lead downwards to other Deep South states. Bear in mind that also that Congress has to pass the Protection of Marriage Act so that the Supreme Court cannot nullify existing marriages. And also, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito has already basically waved the big flag that tell Alliance Defending Freedom, challenge Obergefell, we will overturn it for you. I mean, these people are doing everything possible. They're stopping at nothing to strip away rights of people that they don't like.
Yeah, it's a very, very concerning time when we thought maybe a decade ago we were making such great progress and there was such great hope. We really are on the verge of taking many, many steps back. And you're right, the fierce fightness and the fact that people have come out of the closet, no pun intended, on the other side to crush us, to hurt us, to set us back, to hold our kids back, is absolutely devastating. And there's just so much to do. You have any final thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I'm just really excited to see what this is going to do. I know this since I was in high school, this has been a conversation. So it's just great to see movement. And then, like you said, we need to keep our eye on it. People it's easy to be like, okay, then I don't have to worry about it, move on to the next problem. And that's when things start to slip and you let it go. So
yeah, and I'm
really excited about that.
And I have a question for all of you, right? What can we do? Because everyone's going to say, okay, well, we have to vote. We know we have to vote, number one.
Okay.
Besides going to vote, what can we as a community do to organize, to get the message out there, to hold our elected leaders accountable when we're seeing, in this case, it's a good policy, but we have a lot of not so good policies going on. And what do we need to do to be able to push for our rights beyond just casting a ballot once a year?
So I think I have a very strong opinion on this. I think our community does a wonderful job of saying the big things. Get tested, go vote. But then what? Vote on what? We don't do nothing about education. You get tested, you find out you're positive. We don't talk anything about what the next steps are, what that looks like, how to find help, what living with that means. We don't talk about go out and get vote, but okay, cool. Vote on what? We don't teach what's happening, what these words mean, and expect people to go out and vote, and they don't know what it is. It's intimidating. So I think we need to do a better job of doing outreach and education, and this is what you're voting on. This is what this means. This is why it's important to you, and make it personal, and that way people will connect to it, and I think it'll do so much more than go vote.
That is so well said.
Yeah, I mean, outreach and education are important because I think what happens is you do get complacent, you get comfortable, but then you start seeing your rights being stripped away, and hopefully we won't get to that point, but that's the thing. You want to avoid that you want to stop that from happening. So tell your friends to register and vote. Get the word. I mean, I really think that's essential. Voting is the way to get your voice heard.
You know, I will say social media, for a lot of people, they don't like it. But for some people that are using it well, maybe we're going to educate people on having a voice. I mean, not everyone can sit at this table, but they sure can open up a TikTok account and really start voicing their opinions. They can reach out and maybe build a following of thousands of people that believe the same way they do. Maybe it's a coalition. Let's put social media and make it our friend. I mean, Barack Obama got elected because of social media. Donald Trump got elected because of social media. They're making big announcements and big changes on social media all the time. So maybe it's social media becomes the friend of the next generation that has the voice, and they don't need to be on a show. They don't need to have to do all the things we've had to do traditionally to get the word out.
And I know it has a negative connotation, but maybe if we dumb down the conversation and break down, this is what this means in a way that is easy to swallow, easy to understand, because they try to hide a lot of this stuff in big words and lots of pages, so that way it's too much to worry about.
Yeah, keep it simple.
A 15-second short on TikTok may be a wonderful idea to educate. This is what this means if you're going out to vote today.
And get 1 million
Boom.
views. Can you imagine? You're making a difference.